Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing well, as always. It is Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday, and it's 5:13. Just got out. Just in case you were wondering, a pretty good day at work. It's pretty busy the whole time, but it was really all just easy work pretty much the entire time. Like really nothing too challenging or difficulty or pressing in any sense. So pretty cool day. At least for me personally, as it stands. The busy part of the year that me and my team just went through, at least for me, is over for the most part. I'm trying to help out wherever I can, and just be a good teammate. But at least with my individual, responsibilities and stuff like that, it's pretty much all out of the way. So, not that I can, just kick up my feet and relax, but it's a cool kind of transition back into, I guess the normal swing of things, because it feels like it's a lot less busy and stressful and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, good day at work. Any other updates for you guys? None are really jumping out to me right now. Again, I'll try to have another TikTok up by the end of the week. Not really sure when exactly, but hopefully if it all goes to plan accordingly, it will be up the latest by, let's say, Sunday night. So yeah, you can most likely expect that. I guess also just another update, I guess, because I'm thinking of it just now, but so it's end of October. We're kind of in the midst of fall, and it's kind of weird because, like, especially today, the weather was like really nice, hence I'm wearing a polo. But yeah, we're in the middle of fall, and I took a second to notice on my drive to work that all the leaves have pretty much fallen, and all the leaves that are still on the trees are very orange and red and yellow and all like the fall colors. And I was driving to work this morning, and it kind of stuck out to me. I kind of wish I noticed it more, the whole transition from summer to fall, and like the leaves and just the overall colors and vibe that you see, like the color palette, I guess is what I'm saying. But it kind of jumped out to me on my drive to work this morning. I was driving on the local roads before I get to the highway, and I'm doing my thing, just driving, but I took a second to kind of not zone out, but just kind of like widen my field of view, if that makes sense, while I'm driving. And I noticed that everything just looked a lot more orange, if that makes sense. Like all like the trees, all the leaves everywhere, and like the sun, like going through the sunrise and all that, everything around me just looked really orange, and honestly it looked really cool. So that was just something cool that I noticed, that I thought I'd mention to you guys. So maybe you can take that and start to notice similar things on your own, say after watching this video, and tomorrow or the next day or however long. But yeah, it's just cool to notice those kind of smaller things on a regular basis, because it's kind of stuff like that just makes your day interesting. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's just stuff like that makes your day interesting and makes it memorable. And really, when you just keep stacking that stuff on top of each other day over day, that's really what makes life interesting and enjoyable and beautiful. It's all the smaller stuff that most people kind of just don't notice every day. So yeah. So regarding stuff to talk about today, I didn't really know. I didn't have like a plan, say, going into like the work day or anything like that about what to talk about. But something cool kind of happened. I was talking with a few buddies of mine, having some kind of, boy, silly, like whatever word you want to use for it, just having some dude conversation, some dude talk. And a topic kind of came up in conversation, even though it wasn't really fully mentioned or recognized. Like a little topic came up in conversation that I thought was actually kind of interesting. I thought that it was a topic that could be a good one for today's video, because I do think it is very relevant of a topic, and important at that in the world that we live in today. So yeah, I guess I'll explain the context of the topic a little bit. So I guess really the best way to tell this story is, so I was texting my buddies during the day and trying to make plans for the weekend, and kind of running through some ideas and kind of mentioning some days, and mentioned Saturday, if we could do something Saturday, because with where I'm at right now in my life, I have, Saturday and Sunday, I have the weekend off. So I mentioned doing something Saturday, and my one buddy got back and said that, he's working a double shift on Saturday, so he can't do anything that day. And, I responded, I told him, I said, you work a lot, man. You really do work so much. And he responded saying that, well, he kind of has to right now. And I mentioned kind of in that little series of texts that, how do I say this? I mentioned that, he's working so much, and that he's dedicating so much of his time, his free time at that, to this job, and that, in doing so, he's really dedicating all of himself to this job, and whatever, say, free time or weekend time that he gets. And I mentioned it like stay with me here, all right? Stay with me here. But I mentioned that, in a way, he's kind of, and also kind of, if you think about it, kind of all of us, if we're all kind of doing this whole 9 to 5 or just some sort of work thing, we're all kind of, selling our bodies without actually, physically selling our bodies. But I mentioned, like you're working so much, man, like you're so busy all the time, you're always doing something, and the weekend comes around, like you're just as busy, if not more, than you were, during the week. Like you're kind of like selling your body in a way, man. And keep in mind, like, don't take me that seriously, like it's all, just meant to be a joke at the end of the day. But I said that, and it kind of clicked with me that, I think in some sort of respect, I know that's like a crazy shout to, what I just said, but in some sort of respect, we all kind of are, selling our bodies. Again, stay with me here. We're all kind of selling our bodies, in this whole 9 to 5, work life, rat race, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I say that is because, we don't actually, of course, physically sell our bodies, doing the work that we do, but, we sell our time, pretty much, is what I'm trying to get at. And by selling our time, like it's not like we could just do the work that we do entirely somewhere else with entirely like no like attention. How do I say this? The time that we give to our jobs, we physically have to be there, you know. Maybe not physically in an office, maybe we can work virtually, of course, but physically, like, we have to be present in the moment and be dedicating our time, focus, energy, and attention as to, you know, our job and the responsibilities within it. So in that sense of the way, you know, by selling your time, you're also kind of selling yourself and selling your body to that job. I hope this is all making sense. I know it sounds very kind of weird and maybe like a little controversial for this, you know, this thing that I'm doing, but anyways, but I thought it was a pretty interesting concept of, you know, we really are at the very core, at the very end of the day, we really are kind of doing the same exact thing. You know, we're all waking up every morning and doing our morning routine and, you know, going to work that day and working for, you know, on average at least 8 hours, and come home and we do our whole, you know, we do our 9 to 5 and then our 5 to 9, right? And then, you know, we go to bed and we wake up the next morning and we do the same thing. And unfortunately, and again, this is something I've mentioned in, you know, previous videos, that unfortunately I don't think that things should be that way, you know, for both me individually and really as for humanity as a whole. I think that we have far greater power and potential within each and every one of us that, you know, we can change things for ourselves and, you know, for everything around us, for the world around us, for the better. And, you know, we can kind of take a big step forward as humanity and not have to dedicate, you know, a third of our day for almost an entire week, in my mind, kind of making up a third of our lives in a way, to, you know, say a job that we may, you know, enjoy and be happy with on the surface, but deep down we know that we want so much more than, you know, what we're currently doing, whether it be work-wise or just, you know, life-wise. And so with that, again, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, that, you know, because we're constantly selling our time, in order to make a living. We're kind of, in a way, you know, selling our bodies. You know, I like to think that is, you know, my buddy that I mentioned, myself, and probably all you guys watching this video, and everyone else that, you know, is in this world that we live in today. You know, we're all selling our time to make a living, and with that, you know, we're selling our bodies, and it's just really not the way I think things should be. There's something that just crossed my mind and I forgot it, so hopefully I can remember soon. But yeah, we kind of just have to figure out, you know, how to get around this, and how to figure this out. You know, and I think the answer is going to be different for everyone. But I think this is a problem that we all have to figure out. because time is really the most valuable resource we have, and I know that, you know, a lot of people say time is, you know, merely a concept created by man, and that's something that, you know, I'm sure is true to a degree, to some degree. I don't know. I'm learning more and more about it every day, and trying to, you know, make sense of it and understand it every day. But you know, at least as to how we understand it, you know, time really is the most valuable resource that we have, because we only have so much of it, and we can never, where we are now, you know, in society and with the technology we have, who knows what will be available to us in the future. But as of now, you know, we can't reverse time. You know, we can't go back in time. We can't buy back time. Like, it really is, like, we have it in the moment, and then, you know, the moment's gone, we're on the next one, and it, you know, just keeps on going until eventually one day we're all out of time here as, you know, human beings on Earth. Our time here is up. You know, of course it's sad, but in a way it's kind of beautiful. But anyways, you know, time really is the most valuable and sacred resource that we have here. And yet, I think a lot more of us than we like to admit spend that time doing things that, you know, we don't actually want to do, or things that aren't ultimately important to us, and things that we don't ultimately care about. You know, but, you know, in one aspect or another, we are kind of stuck there. You know, whether it be physically or just mentally, like we are kind of stuck there. And whether it's self-imposed, we keep ourselves there, or we are held there by external things. You know, we are, I think a lot of us are stuck doing things we don't want to do, and, you know, really just living the life that we don't want to, you know, live if we had the choice, and we know it could be a lot better. So yeah, it's something that, again, I think we all just have to figure out. Again, I'm figuring my way out with all this stuff. I'm learning more and more every day, and slowly just figuring everything out, and, you know, sharing with you guys how, you know, my whole journey surrounding that is going. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting topic that came up in conversation that I want to share with you guys. And I'm going to pause it right here because I remember I actually took some notes on it. So I'm going to cut it right here. I'm at a stoplight, so don't worry. I'm going to cut it right here, look at the notes, and be right back. All right, I'm back. So I just took a glance at the notes, and didn't really miss too much. Pretty much just said we're all in some way, you know, selling our bodies with the jobs that we work in order to make a living. And we got to figure out, you know, how to make the most with the least and live the life that we desire. I think it is kind of cool, that little phrase, making the most with the least. And I think it has a few different meanings to that. You got to make the most with the least so we can live the life which we most desire. And this person's being nice, thank you. There's good people out there if you look. But yeah, so pretty much what that means, making the most with the least, is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, and again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe, you know, there are other ways around this, but as far as I'm concerned right now, we all want freedom. You know, I want freedom. And I'm pretty sure if I were to ask everyone, deep down, they all, you know, want freedom as well. And by freedom, you know, not only do I just mean, say, like, rights as, you know, citizens and just humans. I don't exactly mean freedom in that sense. What I more mean is freedom is, you know, just being able to do what you want, whenever you want, you know, without having to, I don't know, explain it or get permission or run it by anyone. To me, that's what freedom really is. So what that means for me is, say not having to work a 9 to 5 and being able to live wherever I want in the world, and to have a completely free schedule where I get to decide everything that I do on a daily basis whenever I want to, and really just living a life where I'm the one fully in control, and nothing that lies external of me has power over me and my schedule and my life if I don't want it to. So when I say make the most with the least, is that sorry, there's like a big line of traffic here. Not really good time. But when I say make the most with the least, really the ticket to freedom, in my eyes at least, in everything that I just described to you, the way to do that is, to make enough money where you can, survive comfortably and be able to buy the things that you need to live every day, and just survive off of that money without having to work and put forth effort and strain to earn it. So again, I know I'm repeating myself a bunch, but when I say make the most with the least, again, I hope this is all making sense, at least a little bit. But by making the most with the least, what I mean is, making the most money with the least effort. It's almost kind of like a mathematical equation that we all have to figure out for ourselves with, who we are and what we're naturally good at and talented at, and what we naturally excel at, and being able to harness that, whatever it is, and leverage it and use it to our advantage to allow ourselves to make more income, more money. So that's one meaning of making the most with the least, making the most money with really the least amount of effort. But also, just making the most amount of money with the least amount of time. And in a way, also making the most amount of time for yourself with the least amount of time, the least amount of effort. Again, I hope that you can understand what I'm trying to say. It makes sense in my head, and I'm hoping that it makes relatively the same amount of sense in yours. Yeah, just really making the most with the least. And again, it's something that we all have to figure out for ourselves. I know I just mentioned that, it's kind of like a mathematical equation in a way that we all have to figure out, but it's an equation that, it is different for everyone, because for exactly that reason, because everyone's different. We're all our little equation or formula or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be different for all of us. So again, we just got to figure out what exactly it is for us. And that's kind of what's cool about it, thinking about it just now, is because, we can't just say, like, go on the internet and someone will tell us what the magic equation is, what the what the answer is to what we're looking for. It's something that, we have to figure out for ourselves, and go through the journey. So again, I think it's kind of cool. And again, the more difficult it is, it doesn't have to be difficult, but say the more difficult it is the better it will feel, once we finally learn it and achieve the answer that we're looking for. But that's something that I thought was pretty cool, that I thought of. It was, making the most with the least, to really pull ourselves out of, say, the rat race, and live the life that we most desire. whether you make the most money in the least amount of time, or you make the most time with the least amount of effort, or you make the most amount of time with the least amount of time, or you make the most amount of money with the least amount of money. It has a lot of different meanings, but it's all kind of saying the same thing. You know, it's all kind of getting to achieving true freedom, you know, in your life pretty much as soon as possible. Because I know a lot of what happens in life is, you know, you're born and you go to school for the first, say, 18 years of your life, and then after that you can go to school anywhere from an additional 2 years to an additional, I don't know, maybe 12 years. And from there, you know, you work, you have your career, you're working 9-to-5 life, say until you're 65, and then from there, then that's the time that you have to, you know, be free and, you know, live whatever life that you want and that you can at that point in your life. And yeah, I'm leaving out a lot of things in between, of course, a lot of very important things in between, but I think for a majority of us, that's how our life really works. And I don't think it should be like that. I think it's a very scary thought, honestly, in my mind, to only begin to, you know, do all the things you truly want to do in life starting at the age of, say, 65. I think you should be doing them from a much younger age. And I know it's a phrase to buy back your time. And it kind of just sits in a weird little spot, kind of in my soul. So yeah, I'm home now. Yeah, I'm home now. I'll talk more in the description, but you know, as always, just remember that there's a lot more to it than you think. Remember that I'm always rooting for you guys. And yeah, just remember that life is good, life is beautiful. Remember to be grateful, and remember not to care about, you know, what anyone thinks or says or does towards you. So yeah, with that, we'll talk tomorrow.